Nobody seems to know what Halosulfuron or Sedgehammer does to annual ryegrass. I've done a ton of research myself and I'm not 100% certain, so here's what I do. I just test it. What you see here is a dormant Bermudagrass lawn, or at least largely dormant, overseeded with a thin coating of annual ryegrass. But right in the middle, I've got some lingering sedges that are starting to come up. Granted, it is almost December 1st, but in mild climate, these sedges are just going to keep on growing. Look at this down here. Sedge. Almost this whole patch. You can even tell coloring differences. It's almost got a yellowish color to it. I'm going to go ahead and cut everything back really low, except for the spot where I've got my sedges right there. And I'm going to spray Halosulfuron right on that spot. It's a generic form of Sedgehammer. It's going to go right on that spot, and there's actively growing, healthy annual ryegrass right there. And we're just going to see if the annual ryegrass can persist through a full application of Sedgehammer. What's that?
It'll be much better with me in that.
In the video?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. What, with your smile? Yeah, I think you're right. So to start this project off, I decided to mix up a batch of Empero Halosulfuron. That's basically a generic form of Sedgehammer, a little bit cheaper. I'll link to that down below. So if you have nut sedge, this is the way to get rid of it. However, it takes a long time to get rid of a bad nutsedge infestation because there are tons of nutlets underground and you can't spray the nutlets until the leaf growth happens up top, and all of them are growing at all the time. So anyway, that's another video. I applied the product to my little square right in the middle of my lawn, knowing full well that I might kill off a small square in the middle of my lawn. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Also took the time to spray down my parkway strip, which is predominantly very, very young, semi-dormant buffalo grass. And then I waited 17 days, not cutting that middle section of the lawn. I decided to keep it long. So now that the project is over, you can very clearly tell that there's a weird spot in the middle of the grass. Now in this clip, it's December 14th. It's been a full 17 days since I applied that generic Sedgehammer to this space. And what's amazing to me is that the annual ryegrass not only didn't die, but it looks so much healthier now than it did 3 weeks ago. Now it's much more mature because I did a fall overseed. So back in late November, it was very, very young. But that's another special finding for this whole experiment, because even though annual ryegrass was very young, very immature when I applied the Sedgehammer, it still didn't die. It just continued to mature and get thicker and healthier. Whereas all while the nut sedge that you clearly see in this shot has not grown. It's shorter than everything else. So even though I was running my regular rotary mower over this on a higher setting, the sedges did not grow, and now they are finally yellowing out and fading away. They are in that dying stage. The way that Sedgehammer works, or Halosulfuron works on sedges, is that it takes almost 3 weeks to fully kill it, but within those first 3 weeks after application, the plant stops growing. So you kind of know that it's going into its death phase because it's not growing. And then after 2.5, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, it really starts dying off to the point where you can't really find it in the lawn anymore. Now, it's not going to kill off some of the nutlets underground that haven't put up shoots, and that's why you've got to attack sedges over the course of an entire season. It's just not ever going to be a one and done, remove the sedges from the lawn situation. But for those of you guys down in warm climates where you do put down annual ryegrass over the course of the winter and you see sedges, do not worry. I'm not ever going to be worried again applying Sedgehammer or any form of Halosulfuron to a winter lawn full of annual ryegrass. I put annual ryegrass down on my main lawn over there to have a nice green lawn over winter while my Bermudagrass goes dormant. That's pretty common practice for a lot of lawn fanatics. Run Bermudagrass, mostly in the transition zone or even down south in the southern warm season climates where the Bermudagrass goes dormant. but annual rye is a really good cover crop for any area on your lawn that's going to have bare dirt on it. So last spring, I applied annual ryegrass right here, somewhere around the 1st of April. I think it was late March that I put it down because it's too early for me to seed Kentucky bluegrass. What you see right here is Kentucky bluegrass on the lawn, but in the interim, in that period of time where I couldn't put the Kentucky bluegrass seed down first, I put the annual ryegrass down to grow a temporary lawn space prior to putting down my permanent lawn space, Kentucky bluegrass, later in the summer. If you want to learn a little bit more about what you can do with annual ryegrass in that sort of scenario for a spring seeding or just a cover crop, go ahead and watch the video that's right up here in the corner.